Meantime, religious freedom advocates and Catholic leaders are celebrating yesterday's ruling. The win affording the Little Sisters the protection to freely serve the elderly poor without violating their conscience follows 2 previous trips to the Supreme Court and nearly a decade of litigation against the Obama-era contraception mandate. Joining me now on Skype to talk more about the ruling is Sister Constance Veit, Communications Director for the Little Sisters of the Poor. Sister Constance, welcome. Great to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much, Tracy.
Now, Sister Constance, I know this has been a long fight, 3 times in total before the Supreme Court. What was your reaction when you heard the justice's ruling?
My reaction this time around was relief. Relief that the battle is finally over.
Yeah, and I know that you've been going through this for such a long time. What has the experience been like, and how has your faith helped you during this years-long legal battle?
Well, I have to say that overall the experience has been a positive one because the experience has allowed us to be exposed to and network with so many good people across the country and people of different faiths, which is something that in our regular apostolate with the elderly, we met so many people and become friends with who we never would have met otherwise. So that was a positive thing. And one of the hallmarks of our congregation of Little Sisters of the Poor is trust in God's providence. And so, while we felt that trust tried or tested a little bit at times, we've tried to look upon this whole experience as just a time of exercising our trust in God's providence and, really kind of putting it on the line to, just keep believing that He'll bring a good end to all of it.
Yeah, so wonderful. And I know that you've said the Affordable Care Act, the contraception mandate, was unthinkable. Can you tell me a little bit more about that and why it was so important for you all to fight it?
Well, it's just our whole mission is based on our belief in the inherent and inviolable dignity of every human life from beginning to end. And so while our mission is concentrated obviously on the end of life, we keep a 24-hour vigil with our residents when they're dying, and we try to protect them from harm, protect them from euthanasia, from anyone or any means of their lives being shortened, unnaturally. And so it wouldn't make sense for us to be so committed to the dignity of life at the end of life and then ignore the dignity of human life at the beginning. So we just felt we could not cooperate in any way with the taking of innocent life, preborn life.
I know that you've spoken about the financial hardships that you all would have faced had the case gone the other way. Can you talk about that and maybe what would have happened to the Little Sisters and those you help?
Sure. So the fines that would have been imposed upon us if we had not gotten an exemption, when we figured them out for all of our homes across the country, they would have added up to about $70 million a year. And that's pretty unimaginable for most anybody in America, I would think, but especially for us, we depend on donations for about 50% of our operating costs. So the thought of having to pay fines of that magnitude, it was just impossible, humanly speaking. With God, all things are possible. So, if we had not prevailed and those fines were imposed, it would probably mean the end of our ministry here in the United States. We Little Sisters are present in 31 countries around the world. So perhaps we would have had to close shop here in America and the sisters gone elsewhere to other countries. But we're just thankful that did not happen. And honestly, we never really thought that it would because of our trust in God's providential care over us.
Well, Sister Constance, we're very happy for you, and thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. Sister Constance Veit, Communications Director for the Little Sisters of the Poor, and thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you so much for having me, Tracy.